I used to think the worst thing in life was being misunderstood. Turns out, the worst thing is when someone claims they understand you and then rewrites your entire identity like they own it. My name was Caleb, or at least it used to be. I grew up in a quiet Massachusetts suburb where people still wave at neighbors but whisper when someone's different. My mom, Dr. Rebecca Winslow, was one of the most respected physicians in the area. Everyone called her brilliant. But behind her impressive resume was someone who hated uncertainty, especially when it came to her children. And I never quite fit her mold. My older sister, Brianna, was everything Mom dreamed of: popular, poised, already shadowing at Mom's clinic before she hit high school. I was the quiet one, always in her shadow, sketching in the margins of my math homework or sneaking glances at fashion catalogs I pretended weren't mine. I never said it out loud, but I always felt like I was missing something, like I was waiting for a life that didn't start yet. Then came the medication. It started the summer I turned 13. I got the flu bad. Really bad. Couldn't keep anything down. Mom didn't like the pediatrician's advice and took things into her own hands. She always did. That's when she started giving me herbal supplements she said would help with my energy and mood. At first, I didn't question it. The pills were small, pinkish, and tasteless. She mixed them in smoothies, crushed them into applesauce. For balance, she said. Your hormones are probably all over the place. Which didn't seem weird because, well, puberty is weird for everyone. But something was off. I noticed my skin was getting softer. My hair changed texture. And after about 3 months, my chest was not flat anymore. I stared in the mirror one night, heart racing. There were definite curves where none should be. What's happening to me? I whispered. That night, I snuck into the kitchen and looked through the trash. The bottle was tucked inside a baggie with a pharmacy label still barely visible. Spironolactone. Estradiol. Patient, Winslow, R. Use as directed. I froze. Those weren't for me. Those were Mom's hormones. The next morning, I confronted her, or tried to. Her response? Calm. Measured. Smiling like she was explaining bedtime rules. You always looked miserable trying to be someone you're not, Caleb. I just gave you a nudge. You'll thank me one day. I felt the floor drop from under me. I wasn't even sure if I was angry, scared, or relieved. All I knew was, part of what she said felt right. That terrified me more than anything else. Things escalated fast after that. 1 week later, Mom insisted I go to the mall with her and Brianna. I thought it was just errands, but she led me straight into a boutique and asked the salesgirl for a fitting. Her first bra, Mom said casually, like it was no big deal. I wanted to vanish. But then, something happened. The clerk smiled, not mocking, not weird, and treated me like any other girl. She measured, brought soft lacy things in pastel colors, asked if I liked floral or plain. And I didn't hate it. That night, Brianna came into my room without knocking. She tossed a box on my bed. Inside was a soft lavender sundress with a matching cardigan. I figured if you're gonna do this, she said, you should do it with style. You've got decent taste, even if Mom's forcing your hand. Then she paused. But I've seen the way you look at yourself in the mirror when you think no one's watching. I think part of you wanted this, even if you didn't know how to say it. I didn't reply. I didn't have the words. The next week, everything changed. Mom insisted I attend dinner at her friend's house, a woman named Dr. Lenora Chastain, another physician, whose daughter Sierra went to my school. Only this time, I wasn't Caleb. She introduced me as Callie. I wore the sundress. I said nothing. My heart beat so fast I thought I'd pass out. But Sierra didn't mock me. She smiled and complimented my shoes. She didn't seem surprised. Not even when I faltered and used the wrong name once. That night, in Sierra's room, she asked, "Is this your choice?" I couldn't answer. But she didn't press. She just said, "Well, either way, I think you make a really pretty girl." And just like that, I was torn between two truths. I didn't choose this. But some part of me didn't want to turn back, and then came the visit to the specialist. Dr. Chastain said she wanted to show us something. A procedure, she called it. No surgery. Just enough to make the world believe what's already becoming true. Mom agreed before I even processed what was happening. You'll never be misgendered again, she said. People will treat you exactly like the girl you are. But was I? I wasn't sure. And yet, I didn't say no. I couldn't. The walls of Dr. Chastain's private clinic were too white, too clean. The kind of clean that made you feel like dirt just for breathing. Mom sat beside me, one hand on my knee, the other flipping through a consent form she clearly didn't expect me to read. But I did. Every word. Non-invasive feminization assistance. Temporary suppression of male secondary characteristics. Optional cosmetic realignment. Performed with parental approval for minors under 16. There it was, in black and white. Legal. Sanitized. I wasn't even being asked. Just processed. Dr. Chastain entered, accompanied by a younger man in scrubs, Dr. Mercer. She introduced him as. He looked at me like I was a project, not a person. I know this is all a lot, he said gently, as if his voice could make any of this okay. But think of this as a head start. By the time puberty catches up with your peers, you'll already be where you want to be. But what if I don't know where that is? I didn't say it out loud. Because part of me, a part one, wasn't ready to admit, wasn't sure he was wrong. The sedative hit fast. I remember laying on the table, the ceiling lights smearing into stars, and Mom's voice drifting down like a lullaby. Just sleep, Callie. When you wake up, everything will be easier. And then nothing. I came to in a dim room, soft music playing, a warm blanket over me. My body felt strange. Not painful. Not really. Just foreign. Like waking up in someone else's skin. I reached down instinctively and froze. Flat. Smooth. Gone. No bandage. No tube. No evidence of the boy I had been. Panic rose like fire in my chest. Before I could even sit up, the door creaked open and in walked Brianna. You're awake, she said, too cheerful. She set a cup of ginger tea on the side table. Dr. Chastain said you might be confused. But I figured it's better I be here than Mom. What did they do to me? I whispered. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she pulled out her phone, opened the camera, and turned it toward me. There, she said. Look. I stared at the screen. I expected a stranger. But what I saw was me. Soft. Feminine. Beautiful in a quiet, unfinished way. Eyes wide with fear but framed by long lashes, lips tinted just enough to glow, and cheeks that looked like they'd blushed on their own. I looked like a girl. No costume. No pretense. Just truth, or at least, the illusion of it. I didn't ask for this, I said. Brianna looked at me for a long moment. Then, without warning, she sat beside me and held my hand. No, she said. But maybe it's what you needed. I spent the next few days recovering in silence. Mom hovered, but I kept my distance. Brianna, surprisingly, became my shield, giving me space, bringing me music, even sneaking me her old nail polish set. I tried not to care. But when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't hate what I saw. What terrified me most wasn't what they'd done. It was that a part of me felt seen for the first time. Then came the first test, Bethany Wallace's birthday party. Bethany was Sierra's best friend, the same Sierra whose house I first stepped into as Callie. Word had gotten around school about me. Whispers. Stares. But no one said anything outright. Still, I wasn't ready for a pool party. Just wear the one piece I bought you, Mom said, laying the swimsuit on my bed like a challenge. It's modest. You'll be fine. Modest? Maybe. But it was pink. Shiny. With ruffles. Do I even have a choice? I asked. You always have a choice, sweetheart, she said, brushing my hair from my face. But some choices are harder to make. I showed up to the party in shorts and a loose hoodie. I figured I'd sit, maybe sip soda, and stay invisible. But Sierra had other plans. She grabbed my arm the moment she saw me. You came, she beamed. Everyone's dying to meet you. What do you mean? I've been at school for months. Yeah, as Caleb. Her words hit harder than I expected. I'd been pretending no one noticed. Now I knew they did. They just didn't say I in the bathroom. I stared at the swimsuit like it was a loaded weapon. My hands trembled as I slipped it on. The fabric clung tight, no lumps, no giveaway. Just smooth lines and soft curves. I stepped out into the sun-drenched backyard. And no one stared. No one pointed. No one laughed. In fact, one of the boys whistled. "Who's the new girl?" he asked Sierra. She smiled. "That's Callie." He looked at me and smiled. "Hey, I'm Jordan." Later, in the pool, we ended up treading water near each other. "You new to town?" he asked. I froze. The answer was complicated. "Sort of," I said. "New enough." "Well," he grinned, "welcome. You've got a nice smile." And for the first time since everything changed, I smiled without thinking, but as I dried off that evening, one question stuck in my mind like a splinter. If this isn't who I was supposed to be, why does it feel more real than anything before? The Monday after Bethany's pool party, I walked into school and didn't hear a single whisper. Not about Caleb. Not about the weird kid. Not even about the girl who didn't exist a few months ago, but now sat in every class smiling like she belonged. It was like I had always been Callie Winslow. I should have felt victorious, liberated, thrilled. Instead, I felt haunted. Like the old me was still watching from behind the curtain. Silent. Forgotten. "Are you okay?" Sierra asked as we ate lunch under the oak tree by the gym. I shrugged. "I don't know. You've changed," she said. "Not in a bad way. But your eyes, they don't sparkle the same." I guess I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this was all my idea. Tired of not knowing what was real. That night, Brianna came home from college for the weekend. She brought with her the usual chaos: tote bags of half-washed laundry, almond milk no one asked for, and unsolicited advice. "What's with the sighing?" she asked as I stared at my math homework. "Nothing." She narrowed her eyes. "You only say nothing when something's about to explode." I said nothing again. So she did what older sisters do. She went snooping. It was after midnight when she came back into my room with an envelope in her hand. "You might want to read this," she said, her voice soft. "I found it in Mom's closet. It's dated." I sat up, heart pounding. The envelope was addressed to someone named Ava Langford. The return address was a clinic in Seattle. The date? 14 years ago. "Dear Ms. Langford, your donor's genetic profile has been flagged for irregularities. Please contact our office immediately regarding potential side effects in utero. This letter is confidential and should be discussed only with a licensed medical professional." There were attached documents, lab notes, and, worst of all, an email chain between Mom and a doctor named R. Mercer. Subject: Accelerated protocol testing. "Rebecca, we can't fast-track identity fusion therapy without documented consent. This could open us to lawsuits. If you proceed, you're on your own."